What's up, everybody? Andrew here, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, I sold Jedi Junk Removal 11 months ago today for $225,000 to a gentleman who was already in the industry, and it's time to interview him and see how Jedi Junk Removal is doing, because honestly, I have no freaking idea how he's been doing, how the company's doing, and also I wanted to show you guys that I truly did indeed sell the company and wanted to show you guys more proof, and what better way than to interview the buyer himself. So let's get started. What's up, guys? It's your boy Andrew. I have a special guest and interview for you guys today. A lot of you have been asking me, where's Jedi Junk Removal? What happened to Jedi Junk Removal? Who bought it? How's it going? Well, guess what, guys? 11 months ago from today, I sold the company, and I am here now with the one and only Brian, the new owner of Jedi Junk Removal. How you doing, Brian?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good.
That's 11 months ago, guys, and I wanted to interview him 1 year later, almost 1 year, and kind of see how things are going. But before we get into that, let's talk about Brian and get to know Brian a little bit of what's going on. So, Brian, thank you so much for letting me come interview you. How have you been?
Good. It's been good. This year has flown by. A lot more responsibility, a lot more work, but overall a good year.
Okay, so I sold it to you 11 months ago. Does it feel like it's been a year? Does it feel like it's been longer than a year? How does it feel?
It felt very long at first, but now that everything's been flowing, after the initial transition, it feels like this year has flown by.
Yeah.
Looking back at things.
Nice.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, when I was selling my company, the person who bought my company, Brian, where I used to park my trucks, you were literally one block from, or no, not even a block. How far?
Same street.
Same.
Maybe like 8 houses down.
Yeah, you were 8 houses down. And I remember when I would check like my Google reviews and I'd compare myself to all the companies nearby, I'd always see BRG and demolition. We'll get into that, guys. But yeah, I remember seeing it and I was like, no way. A guy a few houses down from where all of my trucks were parked is buying Jedi Junk Removal. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. That leads into my first question. Obviously, you were in junk removal and demolition prior to this. How did you first get into junk removal?
We were coming from out of COVID, and I had gotten into real estate. I had initially gone into real estate because I kind of wanted my own business and be my own boss. Mm-hmm. But real estate wasn't really giving me that feel. I feel like
so, like real estate investing, or like being like a realtor?
Like realtor.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
You sell houses, huh?
Yeah, I did that for about 6 months. I did sell some houses. I could say I did give it a real chance. It didn't give me what I was looking for. I felt like I still was working under somebody. So then I looked into starting a business. I had a few ideas out there, and junk removal was one of them.
What made you think of junk removal?
I don't know. I was just looking at like different businesses. I was looking at like hot shotting.
What's hot shot?
A Ram with a trailer, like a dually with a trailer and moving cargo.
That's called hot shotting?
Yeah, if you're doing it with the truck and the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like called hot shot. And then I came across junk removal. What really did it is, while I was in this process, we hired a junk removal guy. And he came over, and the initial quote was like $250, which I thought was reasonable because that's what everybody was coming in at. Once he was there, we added a few things. The bill ended up being like $400. And he was there for like 15-20 minutes, and I'm like, this might not be a bad gig either.
On like one of the houses you were selling or something? Or
no, our own personal house.
So you literally hired somebody?
Yeah, I literally hired somebody to come. So that's when I started looking into junk removal, and I just went with it.
So you started
going with that.
So you started junk removal in 2021 as well?
Late 21, Early 22.
So we started at the same time.
Maybe.
Dang, okay. All right. So you were doing junk removal 2 years then before you decided to buy my company.
Correct.
What made you want to buy another company? Or were you looking into buying a junk removal company specifically, or were you looking at everything? But what made you want to buy another company in general?
Since we started, we've been expanding pretty quick, I guess you can say. I mean, we have like 5 trailers, we have roll-off bins, we have how many trucks now? Like 5 trucks as well. We're always expanding. We're not opposed to it, if it makes sense, right? My brother-in-law actually was looking for a business to buy, and he came across your listing. He's like, hey, there's this junk removal company. He might be your competitor. If you want to look into it, I can send you the info and you can sign an NDA. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I was like, can you just give me the name? And he's like, no, I signed an NDA, man. I can't. I was like,
Yeah.
All right. So I signed the NDA.
It's not like I would have found out.
They told me
No,
they told me Jedi, and I was like, okay. So then, you know, there's obviously a conflict of interest. We work in the same county. I didn't know if it was going to be the right fit, but I thought it could possibly be a great fit if we bought it, because you guys are already on the same street.
Yep.
And I'm already in the business and wanting to expand. You know, it possibly could make sense. And at the end of the day, you know, it did make sense.
Okay, I didn't know that. So you weren't like actively like, hey, I need to go buy another business.
No.
Oh,
Because,
shit.
I mean, we've been doing fine. We didn't really need to buy a business, but I felt like, you know, it wasn't a conflict of interest because Jedi did a lot of Google ads, advertising on Google ads. We did no Google ads. I'm actually, to this day, I'm not a real fan of Google ads. I've never been a fan of Google ads.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they're getting a certain clientele, then, you know, we can stick to our clientele and it's fine. It's not gonna.
So it's like you have both sides now.
And it's rare. It's funny. Till this day, it's rare that somebody is shopping Jedi and BRG at the same time, even though we service the same area. Because the customer where it's generating from is so different.
Yeah. It's called BRG Demolition, right? So you do mostly demo.
It started as a junk removal company. Very quickly, I realized junk removal can take you to a lot of different areas. You know, there's some companies like 1-800-GOT-JUNK that sticks to junk removal. There's other companies that, you know, do junk removal landscaping, junk removal demo. Like you can kind of start branching off, right? So demo would always follow me, you know. We started with like spas and sheds.
Like exterior demolition.
Yeah, and then it
Like small-
like trailer homes, abandoned trailer homes. So we started like expanding into the demo realm. Then we started getting heavy into demo, and we're like, well, we could buy our own containers, and then when we're not needing them, we can rent them. So now we have. So it started with junk removal, and then the focus became junk removal demo. And when the opportunity came along to buy Jedi, I thought, well, BRG can stick to the demo clients, and then we'll give the junk removal clients to Jedi, which is what we do now.
Yep. Cool.
And then we still rent dumpsters on the side.
So demo, dumpsters, residential junk removal, and commercial junk removal.
Demo is about 50-50 commercial, residential. And junk removal is like 80% residential, 20% commercial, yeah.
So my next question was going to be, how many companies did you look at prior to purchasing? But I'm going to go out on a limb and just say like none.
None.
Because you were given. So I thought maybe you were like hunting and like looking at a lot of people and doing due diligence on a lot of different companies, but you just found mine and like, hey, this looks like the right one.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I felt like buying Jedi bought me time, like saved me time. You know, because you guys were already in LA. We weren't really doing smaller projects in LA. It was mostly bigger stuff. Something really great with Jedi, the structure it had was great with the call center. They still work with us. They take all of our phone calls, do all of our scheduling. You know, something that till this day I probably wouldn't have adopted. You know, like hiring somebody from the Philippines and doing the whole show.
Yeah, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to set up. Because you got to not only do you got to hire them, then you got to train them, then you got to build out the Ring Central call center, and then it's a little bit of work. It's a little bit of work.
Yeah, so Jedi was great because it had, I think at the time we had about 2,500 customers in our CRM. Jedi had double, I think close to 5,000 when we bought it.
5,000.
So, you know, when you have a CRM with 5,000 people, you could be successful, you know, with minimal ads.
Have you remarketed at all to the customers?
No.
Maybe this winter is the time to hit them with those like winter specials.
Yeah, winter specials. We also we were just talking, we want to start doing maybe Hulu ads and different approaches, add different approaches to it.
The director behind the camera did this commercial. Go ahead and play it here, just a little quick preview.
Thank you so much for coming, Jedi Junk. As you can see, I've got a lot of junk.
You mean this busted table and this horrible chair and that old weight set?
Right. And also, Frank.
Oh yeah.
Big bird, sweetie bird, twin flame.
That sounds great, Frank.
It's gonna be huge.
Put your junk in our truck. Call Jedi Junk Removal today.
Sweetie bird!
You can believe it.
No!
With all that being said, what ultimately was the deciding factor of why you did decide to buy Jedi Junk Removal?
The expansion of more counties. The people that were already working in our county were going to help with the junk removal load of BRG, so BRG can focus more on demo and not lose that clientele. Because it would, even with the trucks and people, it sometimes becomes very difficult because you run into these demo projects that are like 5 days long, and you can't like go pick up a mattress or schedule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it almost becomes not worth it, but it is still worth it, especially if you have a crew that can attend to that. You know?
Yeah.
So incorporating the two was definitely something that was selling me on this. I liked the structure. There was already a structure in place.
Like the systems of everything in place.
Call center and everything. Yeah, I just thought, the two could work together and
Cool.
it would work out great. Yeah.
Awesome. What changes have you made to the company so far?
Not many, actually. We did take our budget down with Google Ads.
Why don't you tell everybody how much I was spending on average per month on Google Ads?
So Andrew was spending, I think, 20,000, 25,000 a month.
On average.
I think a year was like 250,000 or something.
Just on ads. So what did you bring it down to?
I brought it down to.
You can give a ballpark too.
Yeah, I think now we're doing like half, like 120,000. And the reason is obviously Jedi did something right. They were doing something right, but I didn't want to change anything. Andrew's picture is still out there, actually, all over the place.
Okay, hold on. Funny story. I wonder if they'll be able to hear the director in the back. We were just at a restaurant in Thousand Oaks getting breakfast. Me and my lady used to always go when we lived in
really?
Thousand Oaks. Do you remember what he said, Roscoe?
What, he said that he sees your face around?
Yeah, he's like, I see your face driving around the city still. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, so we didn't rebrand. Obviously, Andrew was doing something right, so I didn't take away. Most of the structure is there. The same ads are there. The only thing I did incorporate, which is the way BRG works, which is mostly based off like a referral basis. Providing good service, they're going to call you back. So with Andrew, maybe implementing, a little bit more focus on referrals. And with Jedi having double our CRM, I just didn't feel like there was a need to be running such high ad spend.
I understand why, because ads, there's months where you'll spend 25 grand and you might only get back like 50 and you made 2x on your ads, so you're barely profiting.
Yeah.
But then 1 month I'll get a 5x return.
Yeah.
And see, I just dealt with those ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, this is just a horrible month. But the next month I would spend 30 grand and I'd get back 120, 150.
You're gonna get your money back. I felt like at the end of the day, your profit margin was still lower because those Google ads are.
Yeah, so let's actually talk about margins. By the way, guys, we're probably not going to talk top line numbers or anything like that, just because not everybody's comfortable just putting everything out there. So we'll talk more like, changes you've made or margins like that. So what were you able to do with the margins? Because my margins were kind of pretty low. 20% is a pretty low margin. Did you do anything to increase the margins? Do you think, are they better? Is it the same?
Obviously, we're doing less gross than you were because your ad spend was higher, your revenue was higher. I found that with spending less on ads and working more with like people who are referring us or calling us back, those are free leads, you could say, right? They're already paid for. So we focus a little bit more on the free leads, you could say. And then, running Google ads still helps when we're slow or filling the gaps. But with not paying for every customer, you could say, because every customer is running you $60.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, you're already in the whole $60.
Yeah.
And then,
Real quick, if your average lead cost on Google is $60, 55 to $60, and you're only closing 50% of your phone calls, that means your actual customer acquisition cost is $120. So by the time think about it, you're only so you're closing half of the customer. Yeah. So by the time you get in front of the customer, you're actually 120 deep.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So
and then your minimum can only be so
much.
So for free.
minimums are money loss leaders.
Yeah.
We call minimums loss minimum item pickups, we call those loss leaders.
But when they call you back, that's when they're free,
Yep.
So that's more of the approach we started using. It increased our profit margin, which made up for the revenue we were doing.
Do you know what your margins might be now? Are you pretty on top of it?
Yeah, we've gone up about 10%.
Okay, so you 30% margins.
Yeah, so that 10% makes up for the revenue that we're not doing anymore.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it kind of works out because at the end of the day, we have 2 less guys now. So it's less unnecessary work, you could say.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like you've tidied up operations a little bit too.
Yeah. I feel like, on the Facebook and everywhere else, you always get those people that ask, like, where should I advertise? How should I advertise? I don't think you did anything wrong, and I feel like advertising is great, and you have to spend a lot of it up front. Mm-hmm. And I think that's involved with expanding too. I think if we were to expand into like Orange County or another county, you have to go heavy on the advertising, and you're gonna not make as much money. But after you've built that CRM with people, then you can kind of cut back on the ads. I was able to cut back because you built such a big CRM.
Awesome.
And spent so much money, because we wouldn't have been able to cut back.
That's how I got 5,000 customers, is just spending $500,000 on ads.
Yeah.
But those customers are now customers who refer people, repeat, that you can remarket, et cetera, et cetera.
We have one guy actually in particular, we just did a $22,000 job for him. Which came from a Jedi lead.
Nice.
He's free every time he comes to us, and it's state work, state money. So it's like.
Was he an already existing Jedi customer?
I think he came in through Google Ads.
Okay, so after you bought though.
After I bought, but he came in through Google Ads. Google Ads are good.
Google Ads eventually pays itself back, for sure.
Yeah.
As long as you run them right.
You might not see the return on the ads. Well, this is another pointer I tell people. I hate paying for ads, but it's something you have to do. I fucking hate it, dude.
It's but you don't do it in BRG.
Yeah, we do it, but we just never did Google.
Okay, got it. Facebook.
We do like Facebook, Yelp. We used to do Craigslist, but I feel like that's when you're starting out.
Yeah, that's just when you're starting out.
I can't make money.
You can't survive off Craigslist. Yeah. It's like you want to just get your first couple jobs.
If you're off the truck, you can't. You can't be on Craigslist. What I tell people with ads is you can be on 6 platforms, right? Yelp, Google, Craigslist, 6 platforms. Mm-hmm. You might make money on 2 or 3 that month, and you might break even on the other 3. But building that CRM, you're gonna make money in the long run.
Exactly. The big question that everybody wants to know is: Brian happy with the purchase? And I want you to be completely honest, because I got a lot of haters out there, and I want you to tell the truth. Maybe you aren't happy, maybe you are happy. I think you got a great deal. But is Brian happy with the purchase? Because most investments, you don't make your money back the first year. You make it back after 2 or 3 years. If you get lucky, you'll make it back the first year.
Yeah.
But is Brian happy with the purchase you made?
I am happy.
Okay. Hell yeah. You heard it here, guys. I didn't pay him to say that. No, but you are, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, again, I feel like I bought myself time. Mm-hmm. Expanding to LA and building a call center would have taken me, what it's going to take back to pay the business, the amount that I bought it for, or even longer, so for sure.
So it sounds like the most valuable thing you got from it is not only, of course, expansion and, growing and all that stuff in the future, but it sounds like you bought back some time because of the systems that I had in place. Yeah. And aren't you kind of utilizing the call center now a little bit for BRG as well?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. They handle everything.
Yeah, it's nice, right? Yeah. Sometimes you guys, I'm not gonna lie, VAs aren't perfect. Sometimes you just want to But we want to do that with all employees. It is what it is, but it brought you back or gave you back a lot of time.
Gave me back time, bought me time. Would I buy another business? I think where I'm at now, I could easily expand, so there's like no need.
You can just keep expanding BRG and Jedi.
Yeah, I could go into another county and take a loss for 3 months and be fine
Yep.
while we build it up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Another question for you, Brian. Since you bought Jedi Junk Removal, I talk a lot about my process of selling it and what I had to go through because I met 20 of you, of them going through due diligence. It was a lot of work on my side.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who want to buy junk removal companies. I actually get phone calls a lot. Andrew, should I buy this junk removal company? How much is it worth? What advice would you give to buyers out there? Like just anything that comes to mind because you went through the process of buying the company with me.
That's actually a good question. So if you're trying to buy a business in general, I would try to stick to what you know and what you're currently doing. Because I know people that like they've worked in restaurants their whole life and now they're looking to buy a junk removal company. It's like try to stick with what you know. And then if you are a junk removal company looking to expand and purchasing another junk removal company, really take your time with escrow. Like throughout our process, I was so busy I didn't even have like time to go look at the trailers, the trucks. I glanced at them.
Yeah.
Like really look at my mileage and like kind of like what foreseen expenses you're gonna have, which at the end of the day are minimal, you know, when you look at the big picture, but still know like what work you're gonna do immediately and like what could take time. Try to do ride-alongs, I guess. I did like 0 ride-alongs.
Yeah.
Like try to get to know the employees beforehand.
That would have been a good idea. So basically just go a little more thorough on due diligence in the physical process.
Correct.
Physical stuff, because you did a lot of the looking at the digital
paperwork.
assets and the paperwork and the money tracking, bank statements and all that. But you probably should have gone a little more hands-on into the
Correct.
physical side of things.
Yeah.
Going and looking at the trucks, checking the trucks in person and doing ride-alongs, meeting the employees. When you're doing due diligence, make sure you always track the money. Make sure you see where all the money's going. And then absolutely, that's a really good one. I didn't even think about that one. You'd think it's common sense, but sometimes you're just so busy, you don't do it. Do you think you'll ever switch over to Autopilot when you? I know you haven't seen it yet, but you're using House Call on BRG and Workies.
So I'm using House Call Pro on BRG, Workies on Jedi.
What are your total expenses with both platforms? Do you think roughly?
Shit, I don't even know. I would have to look at it. I think House Call Pro I pay like $175 a month.
Okay.
And then every 3 months work is $675.
So give or take, so 400-ish, somewhere between $400 and $500 a month maybe.
Yeah.
For software, and then you have CallRail too. Okay. Yeah. CallRail, which is a lot. So my software has CallRail implemented, so you could, but that'd be a lot of work to switch you over. But one day.
Yeah, I intend to. I think what I'll do is I for sure want to switch over to Autopilot since I still control House Call Pro, and the reason I do that is we work a lot with commercial, so it's not like your typical text the contractor and we're on our way. Like we don't really do that with commercial, so I like to set the appointments for the team on House Call. Okay. And the call center handles Workies. So what I would like to do is switch over to Autopilot and have a little bit of control from House Call, you know, over to Autopilot, have some control and really personally get a feel.
We have so many cool features, but that's for a whole nother video. I could talk forever about that. And my last and final question for you, Brian, is what does the future hold for Brian? Are you just going to keep doing what you're doing? You're going to expand into other counties?
We are going to expand into other counties and keep doing what we're doing.
Cool. Oh, I said it exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is the infamous one and only Brian who bought Jedi Junk Removal. So I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this interview. Tons of people are like, where is it? Did you even really sell it? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I sold it. I wanted to wait to interview him a year later to actually get his honest feedback of how it's been going. So I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. And thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
It was awesome to finally see you. It's been a year. I haven't seen you in a year, man.
Yeah,
so yeah, it's been a while. All right, guys. As always, I leave you with this. Success is often covered in dirt, but so was gold at one point. Toodles.